what's happening.
Is who?
Leroy.
Yeah, so I dropped him the thing. Marty should be hopping on too. He just messaged me. He said he got a new phone. All right, so we should be live like here in just a second on YouTube. Yeah, we're good to go now.
I see the big red glowing live light on my screen.
That's right. Now I'm just going to make sure that we're hooked up over at the site.
Boom.
Let me just make sure I got the bam. We're live on Detailer Marketing. And
we're telling the intraweb that we're here.
We should be rocking and rolling now. We are live. We are live. Sweet. So right now we've got, okay, cool. We got Jeremy in here. Sweet. So for you guys that aren't members of the $1 Million Detailer Club, our private Facebook group, please go and join at facebook.com/groups/1MDDC. But right now we've got a few special guests that are going to be joining on here. I think we'll have about 3 or 4 that should be joining us. So we're going to do kind of a special episode here on Marketing Mondays this week. All thanks to the genius of Mr. Jason over here. So if you were just with us in the Facebook group.
What do I do? What do I do now?
I'm just telling them about your awesome idea you had. So if you were over in the $1 Million Detailer,
we just want to help. Yeah, just want to help.
We're going to be doing sort of a different thing this week. We're going to do kind of a mastermind here. We've got Leroy, who should be joining us here in a moment. But we're going to have a few guests here in the chat group. And we're just going to do like a mastermind wrap and talk about, innovating your marketing and sales, right? And the importance of that, and kind of answer some questions, some common questions, some common frustrations, some common shortcomings we've noticed with a lot of detailers, either from submitting their marketing audits to us or just reaching out to us via email, Facebook Messenger, that sort of thing. So a little bit of a different thing. I don't know how long we'll be running, but you're basically going to be getting a free mastermind for the next however long we hang out on here.
That's right. And just I just switched my microphone. Can you hear me okay? Just want to double check you can hear me okay now.
Yes, indeedy.
Good. Excellent. So so we just did a Facebook Live in the group, and we were asking people what they'd like us to cover. And Leroy, he brave of him is, I always think it's very brave when people will comment publicly on a Facebook Live or Facebook group saying, "Hey, I'm just struggling," right? And always hands off to people who actually, aren't scared to say publicly, I'm struggling in my business. So we want to help Leroy because he said he's struggling getting regular clients, and it seemed obvious from the brief interaction that we had with Leroy, and hopefully we can bring him on, is that it seems to be that Leroy is not clear on his target audience. And this is a this is a super common problem, by the way, in all businesses, not just detailing, in my experience. So I'll often ask the question, what kind of work are you looking for? What kind of client are you looking for? And the answer is, any client, any work whatsoever, I'll have it. It doesn't really matter as long as, as long as they're decent clients. No, that's not how we do it, right? That is not how you can do marketing. And like I said, it's super common. So don't feel bad. It happens to a lot of people who've not had the guidance yet, and that's what we're here for. We're hoping to guide. And so I do hope we're going to be able to bring in Leroy. So we did kind of fastball him, in fairness, because he said, like, we're going live in 5 minutes. Leroy, do you want to be on? So we think he's out and about. So, where he's out and about, so he might not get on straight away. But, we've talked about it in many other episodes, at least. So before we get into the context of, let me just grab some of the comments. He sort of put the price list. He's doing caravans and RVs and stuff like that, and that happens to be a specialist subject of yours, right, Christian?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to talk about? Why don't you talk? I know you've done it. You've talked about this 100 times. You talk about it on the masterclass every week about RVs. So, guys, if you haven't seen Christian's masterclass, register for it. It's on detailermarketing.com/masterclass. So go there and register for that. It's on Thursdays, I think, usually.
Yep.
So go check that out. But why don't you talk about your epiphany, maybe, or any epiphanies you had when it came to like, RVs. How do I get these customers? Right, now I know how, and this is what I'm going to write in my ad. This is how I'm going to do the marketing, how I'm going to get these customers. How about that? And hopefully we can bring Leroy in and fix his specific stuff.
Yeah, so this is what ended up happening when I first started my business. Just to give you like a quick background story. I'm not going to go all into it, but basically to give you a quick background story. I was in college, in a ton of student loan debt. I was living with my parents. I was working in a grocery store, making like $10 an hour, and I was detailing as a side hustle. Right, that was just kind of like my little side gig, trying to make some extra money. Because my big passion was marketing, entrepreneurship, that sort of thing. And so that's what I was, working on as my little side hustle. And eventually it got to the point where, my parents moved away. I was all on my own. So I had all of these extra bills and expenses to figure out. My student loans were about to hit me right around the corner. I was going to have to start paying those jokers back. And so basically I was in the position of figure out how to make freaking money detailing, right? Or you can drown and suffer and hate your life forever because you're going to have to take a desk job with this degree and pay back these loans and figure out, the real world or whatever, right? And I ended up getting asked by a guy. I was out detailing. This was the craziest thing. I was out detailing at like a dirt quarry, right? With like red clay, doing a rinseless wash on this disgusting muddy truck. And a guy pulled up by me and asked if I could do a fifth wheel. So I go out, I do this fifth wheel, and at the time, this is what's crazy looking back at it. I was working at the grocery store. Remember all the stuff I just told you, $10 an hour, broke his mess. I charged this guy like $400 and something to detail this RV and finish that joker in about 3 to 4 hours. So I'm literally like jumping out of my shorts that I just made, my week's paycheck in, half a day. So I realized, man, I really love doing these things, not just for the money, but that was actually really enjoyable. It's a lot different experience than what you do on a vehicle. So I found an RV park in town that has well over 1,000 lots. I think now they're getting close to 2,000. So I was like, that's a great place to start at, right? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, there's over 1,000 RVs out here. There's got to be somebody to let me wash one, right? But the problem I had was when I got out there were already 3 other companies that were servicing this park, and they had been there for over 20 years, right? So these guys had it on lock. That was what I would have assumed. But again, I didn't really have much to lose, right? So I wasn't going to just, walk away. So I started looking around to see what these guys were doing. I was looking at their business cards, their websites, their trucks. I would even go out there on my lunch breaks in my Miata and just like drive around and see what they were doing. And what I realized was they were literally all copying each other. It was monkey see, monkey do. Their business cards were exactly the same. Their trucks, their trailers, everything like almost identical to one another. They were advertising like free estimates. We take pride in your ride. We do it right the first time, licensed and insured, IDA certified, or we do commercial and residential work. Here's like a billion different things that we're willing to work on. We take Visa and MasterCard. Stuff like that they completely already expected. So if you were to line these trucks up right next to one another, stand the business owners at the grill of them, they hold their business card out and they can get their laptop in the other hand with their website brought up. And you say, okay, pick the guy that's best for you. You wouldn't have been able to do it. There was no way, right? They were exactly the same. It was like having 3 bags of Cheetos with all different chips in them and trying to figure out which one was a chip you were going to like, right? As far as they're all Cheetos. Right. But so I figured, well, dang, I'll just do something different. Instead of being another big red apple and having this big apple to apple competition, I'm going to make myself a fat, juicy orange. And the way that I did that was I positioned myself as an RV preservation specialist. I just completely made the term up and put together a rack card. And I actually on the masterclass show that identical rack card, the exact one. And it basically said, I think right at the top it said, "We are not," in bold letters, a pressure washing service. We specialize in protecting, preserving, and prolonging the health, beauty, and value of your RV. Something along those lines. And then basically said, here's a list. It was a brief little short list of some services we might offer. And it had a limited time offer in there. And then a QR code with a little link to my video sales letter for RVs. Right. That was pretty much it. It was, about that tall. I don't know, about 3 by 11, something like that. And I went and put it in the office right next to all their little business cards that said, "We take pride in your ride, licensed and insured, John@gmail.com." Right. And then I put a few hundred of them out around the park and, went home and waited for something to happen. And that month, at 21 years old, working in a grocery store, broke as a joke, out in the free world, by myself for the first time ever, made just under $10,000 in less than, it was like 28 days, detailing RVs, right? And it was because I actually positioned myself, as something separate from the competition, right? It made them completely irrelevant. Awesome. We got Brandon in here right now. It made them totally irrelevant because then you had the choice of, let me hire Joe the detailer, who's exactly the same as John the detailer, but just a little bit uglier than Bob the detailer, right? So you could choose them, or you could pick the guy that put money in your pocket, who was preserving your RV, ensuring you got as much cash back on trade-in or resale value. The guy that was telling you, look, man, you worked for 40 years to have this RV. The last thing you need to do is be climbing up and down a ladder 10 hours in the hot sun, sweating like a dog, scrubbing it down with a brush, right? Even if you're 65 years old and able to do that, why are you doing that, man? You just need to be out here grilling hamburgers and hot dogs, watching the game and drinking a Natty Light. That's all you should be doing. So it made the choice super, super clear. And to this day, I'm still out there. So the epiphany I had, and guys, when I did this was like just before I got to meet Jason. So if I'd have known Jason at the time, I'd probably made $20,000 that month. But the big epiphany was, it didn't even matter how long I'd been in business. It didn't matter how good of a detailer I was. Right. That was like the least of their worries, because there's 3 other guys, collectively 60 years of experience, and they've been out here every day driving these trucks around and couldn't even create enough brand recognition or anything. And I could just swoop right in and make $10,000 as a 21-year-old new business owner. So that's, and the big point of that is 99% of detailers are just like these guys. They don't really know how to innovate or market or anything like that. And that's why when you have somebody who does, you can come right in. So like, that's why I say, like we did on the live video, if you're just relying solely on word of mouth, you're just going to grind your knuckles to the pavement and sit on your hands and try to let the business come in. That's great. That's cool and all. And even if you're booming 7 days a week like that, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily a great marketer or a great salesman, right? It just means that someone hasn't come along that knew what they were doing to kick you out of business, right? And it happens all the time. Now, I'm not saying I went in there and kicked all these guys out of business, but the point is that was $10,000 that they weren't making, just by separating myself.
You took money out of their wallet and put it into yours.
Yeah, and 20 years of experience didn't make a difference, right? Having the big pressure washer and the vinyl wrap on the truck didn't really matter. I'm going out there in a 1995 Mazda Miata that doesn't even have a back window in it, detailing RVs. Oh, and by the way, it cost me about $25 or so, just the price of the rack cards with some shipping to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I was speaking with somebody in a different kind of business today, and they were talking all about, and he was asking me, no, not today, it was yesterday. And he was asking me, I've got a lot of marketing agencies coming to me and pitching me this and that and the other. And I said, like, you just simply, and he's got a super attractive product. It's to do with flying, aviation. which is a how can I put it? It's a sexy industry in itself, right? People are already really interested in being pilots. You don't need to spend money.
Right.
You still do marketing, but you don't need to spend paid marketing, paid advertising, because there are enough channels out there where you can find people interested in being pilots, right? Without actually having to do a big, massive ad spend. And it's like that. And it's again like this, like you were saying, you made $10,000, and people think, oh yeah, but how much did you spend on marketing or advertising? Well, $25, right?
Right.
Because it's all about positioning, and it's all about marketing and innovating your business. So I can see Leroy is not in this chat room. He was saying he's on YouTube chat room and saying to drop the questions in there. It's not ideal, if I'm honest, because there's a lot of it's going to take too long if to type questions and wait for the responses. It's not going to work. So we may just have to go ahead and improvise ourselves and
there's a big delay between YouTube and what we're actually doing here. I say big, but substantial enough that it'll bog things down. It's not really ideal. Now we do have so we do have Brandon in here as well. I think he just dropped that, and we have let me go check to the participants. We have Jeremy in here as well. So if either one of them want to hop on, we can surely see what they'd like to, if they have any questions, anything like that they want us to cover and help them with, we can definitely do that as well. What do you think?
Yeah, let's speak with, I mean, Brandon's actually asking, am I supposed to just see you guys on here? Am I supposed to be heard? And, well, Brandon, do you want to join us? Maybe if you have some questions, you want to work on your business, we can work on yours instead.
And his is just as big an issue. A lot of like Leroy's problem was getting the regular clients, right? But Brandon was saying that his biggest issue, well, from what he's told me, maybe he does have a problem with getting regular clients. I don't know, but what we were talking about in the Facebook Live was getting his pricing up, right? And having a more consistent pricing, which is a big deal for a lot of detailers trying to command those higher prices. They're a lot of times either scared to do it, don't know how to go about it. We got Jeremy dropped a question: ideas on how to stand out locally on Instagram and get a following with high-end clients. Okay, so that's an interesting one there.
Where are you seeing that?
In the Q&A box. Drop that in the Q&A box.
Oh, that's interesting, because I don't see anything from Jeremy. Is that Jeremy must be just typing directly to you. Jeremy, it's
in the there's a Q&A box, and then there's the chat box. He dropped that in the Q&A box.
I see it. I've never seen that before. I've been using Zoom for a long time.
Yeah. So if either one of you guys want to hop on here, we can do that as well. You don't have to turn your video on if you don't want to, if you're not comfortable doing that. But at least have your voice on. See if you drop over here in the chat, let us know, and I can bring you on. Or unmute their mic. I should be able to unmute your mic from here.
Yeah. Should we try? Should we have a quick chat with Jeremy? He's asked his question. Just to repeat his question: ideas on how to stand out locally on Instagram and get a following with high-end clients. So again, it comes down to the same issue, right?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'd like to be curious. I mean, it's a very. Bring me on. So Brandon wants to come on. That's very interesting and specific. That's why I'm kind of interested to hear that. So see, we got Brandon just hit us back. So I'll fire him up real quick, turn his mic on. And then Jeremy, let us know if you'd like to hop on as well, and we will discuss that also. One at a time though, clearly. Let's see. Boom, Brandon, you should be ready to rock and roll. We should be able to hear you. Go ahead and give us a shout. You're gonna have to turn your own mic on.
All right, you got me now?
There you go. Boom. Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome.
Sweet. So, questions for us?
My biggest thing, I've tried new things since I have started following you guys. When I offer like my top package, and that's pretty much a full detail, I try to throw in a kind of like a pitch line, a sales line, that if they get this if you get this package, then your first 2-week follow-up will be free. And then after that, because the vehicle should be up to a professional standard by then, because I've got it to where I need it to be, I give them a flat rate fee of every 2 weeks of, say, $75. I come by, maintain your vehicle, keep it clean, vacuumed out, and that has seemed to started working for me, because I'm one of those that I'll take a little bit of the money all the time instead of that one big detail one time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The little bit of the money all the time is what creates the big money all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're doing exactly the right thing.
Oh, yeah, man. Because we're talking about, you want word of mouth, right? Well, what's even better than word of mouth is when you've got these regular clients that you're basically turning into a sales force for you, right? Like we had Matt Coyle said that one time. He said, I think I just hired a salesman, because he had all these clients coming in, and then he would give them a free detail for like a free wash in exchange for a referral. And so the guy was like, cool, man, can I go ahead and give you 5? Right. And the dude ended up paying for like a year's worth of maintenance, just sending in referrals. Right. So you're doing exactly the right thing, because all of that constant contact with them, you're just building a better and better and better and better and better and better relationship.
I've got a few of them that have been with me a couple of months. Like, I think the first thing to me is getting them comfortable with me, gaining their trust, knowing that I'm dependable, knowing that I've got one lady, she goes off to work, the house is unlocked, the keys, she's hanging right there. That's how much trust that I've built with her, that I even do her lawn care when I'm done with the 2 vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gained 2 people from her, and I look at it as, if I get, say, my personal bills that I have to make every month, if I've got that in regular clients that I'm going to meet with every 2 weeks, and that my bills are paid from that takes pressure off of me, instead of always being on the grind and having to push daylight to dark and lose my passion for what I do. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and that's why Jason's always preaching the money is in the list. And that, because that's what most detailers are doing is, how do I get new clients in? I need as many new clients as possible. New client, 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 new client. So yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm super excited to hear that you've been tuning in, listening to us, and actually have tried one of the things that we've suggested, and it's working super well for you, man. That's really exciting to hear. Yeah, that's great, man. So basically all you did was you said, hey, buy my premium package, and I'm going to give you something that no other detailer is going to give you, plus this exclusive pricing plan on keeping this joker that way.
And I even defined the definition for them of a flat fee. When I say flat fee, that means, hey, if one of your children or something, they spill something in the carpet, it's going to be $75.
Yeah, he's been listening, dude. He's definitely been listening. That's awesome. That's awesome. So can you give us a pain point, something that we can help you with? So that's been awesome. That's working great. That's super exciting to hear. Can you give us a pain point, something you're trying to maybe work on right now? Maybe you need to improve it. It's something you're struggling with in your business right now, something that we can help improve for you.
Definitely my pricing. That would be my biggest thing. I'm in a not a small populated area, but not a very big populated area. I travel about 35-mile radius from where I live. That's kind of what I do. I go outside of that, then it's extra.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest issue is I can't get people to understand that it's hard for me not seeing the vehicle and give you a direct price over the phone. And I protect myself and them with, this is an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And like the issue I had the other day, like all week, 2 jobs that I had scheduled that week got moved over into this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hurt to me, because there could have been 2 new customers this week, but I learned some from it, and you helping me out with some of that, Christian. But I need to fix that issue. That's a big issue. That's my number one issue right now, is getting a little more consistent with my pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you can always play with it, not exactly play, but you can try this out. Sometimes you have to try out a few things, and you could say, like, all right, I tell you what, and you give them the highest price possible. They say, I want a full detail on my whatever type of vehicle it is, and you say, and think to yourself, well, the worst it could possibly be, you say, like, it's $700, and they go, wow, that's expensive. I know. If you want it to be cheaper, I need to come and have a look at it. So that's the point I'm trying to make to you, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, is how on earth can I really, it would be disingenuous of me to tell you that detail is $700 right now, and I come and I turn up on your driveway and have a look at it, and actually it's really not in that bad shape. It just needs a little bit of top up. It just needs, it just needs a minor detail, right? But if you want me to give you a cast iron solid estimate, $700. And then I think
I think that would change their thought. And the famous one, I know you guys have seen it a million times too. They send me the message, I want a full detail. Okay. Well, there's a lot too. What do you mean by your full detail compared to my full detail? And so I'll start with my top package. And then they, oh, no, I don't need this, or I don't need that. I said, well,
you're proving my point. I need to come and see it. And I also say to them, and any detailer who's prepared to give you an exact price on the phone without seeing a vehicle, you should be immediately suspicious of.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And what you gotta let them know is, because I've had people say that you can't just give me a price. You don't have just like a menu. You don't have anything like that. and you just let them know, well, you know, literally every single vehicle is completely different, right? So like Jason just said, if a detailer can go, oh, it's a 2010 Ford F-150, all right, $150. What that means is when he shows up and it's something that's going to take him more than $150, now he's got to be slick and cut some corners to make that thing profitable. So literally the entire detail, all he's thinking is, how can I cheat and cut corners and be as big of a hack as possible so I can get out of here and still be profitable, right? And then that's when you either start getting these really bad jobs, or they're damaging stuff in the vehicle, or hiding stuff from you, you know, sweeping it all under the seats. I don't know, right? And you just got to let them know that. So I always will say, can you send me some photos of the current condition of the vehicle so that I can provide the most accurate estimate possible, and we can have the most productive call possible, right? Because you want your estimate to be complete. That alone is a differentiating factor from a lot of detailers, having a complete estimate. And you can go even a step further, which is what I like to do, is before you ever see the people, send them like a work order. It can just be an email. It could be like just an unpaid invoice or something like that, that shows everything you're going to be doing, how long you estimate it's going to take, and then, you know, the estimated price you give them. And then when you get out there, walk that vehicle over with them, go over everything you guys discussed, right? And so you both know you're on the same page. And then after the detail, do that junk again and get them to check it off and sign that you did, you know, everything that you're supposed to be doing. And that also opens the door. If you guys have listened to Juan, and when we did that interview, that opens the door to do stuff like your fishbowl strategy, or to start adding upsells and cross sells and stuff like that, because you've assessed everything they want done, right? And then you can start saying, okay, so this is everything. Maybe you want something of this, or maybe this, or I can suggest you this. It's just going to make it a much smoother process, and people will be much more comfortable paying whatever price that you're commanding, especially after they've taken the photos, they've got on the phone with you, you've looked at the vehicle, whatever it is. Now they actually have legit time. They have skin in the game now. So it's even more painful to tell you no and not get the detail done. Also, what will happen is if they do tell you no, they'll call another detailer. He'll answer the phone and go, hello. And then they'll go, dang it, let me go call Marty back, or let me call Brandon back.
Right.
You know, because it'll be clear that this guy's not on the same level as you.
And that's the thing with me. I try to be as professional as I can, but not flashy. You know, I really follow that. That's the big thing that really keyed me in to you guys and you, Christian, is like how you started, man. I've got a Honda Civic hybrid. That thing is 50 miles to the gallon. I'll load that thing down, whatever it takes. But when I get there, or whoever helper I've got with me, we have, you know, work shirts, gray shorts, look presentable and professional, quickly identified as where the detailers that are supposed to be there. I use a lot of that strategy to eliminate the online things that happen, or, you know, they just got my number, you know, they never met me. I make sure my first step is my helper get things set up. We don't keep stuff all over the yards, nothing. You keep things neat. I'm going to go get the customer and get them comfortable with us being here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what you want to do. So yeah, backtracking to, I guess the initial question was getting the pricing right and getting people to understand that you need more information, you need more time with the vehicle. I guess to give you a recap, hopefully that's made sense to you, you know, is just to reiterate the fact that, look, you know, I'm doing a different level of work here, if we want it as accurate as possible, if we want to say, because I could end up charging you way too much. That's super easy to do. Or, I could end up underbidding myself, right? Which is not good. Obviously I'm not going to cheat myself out of this. I'll let you know, hey, I underbid this. We can work that out. I'm never going to try to cut corners and, make something profitable just because I underbid myself, but that's not going to happen. That's why I have these things in place. And for those detailers that are just, giving you some price over the phone without having any information on the vehicle or seeing it at all, you need to be wary of that. Anyways, for the reasons we just talked about, they're going to have to cut some corners. They're going to do some shady things, or you're just going to get a bad job altogether. You're going to get the kind of people that are stealing stuff out of your consoles, those sort of things. So just let them know, I'm doing this to protect you and to protect me, and to make sure you get the most accurate estimate possible, a complete quote. We actually built a campaign on Marketing Mondays, and that was one of the things that we put in there, was that our estimate was complete. Do you remember that? I think it was like episode 1 or 2.
Yeah. And that's something that I had been thinking to myself, really, and I need to work on. Just put it out there and be dead honest. I need to get in the habit of doing more in-person estimates instead of these phone estimates. I think y'all hit the nail on the head when you went with the phone estimates versus being in person and giving the estimate with them.
Well, what I do, because I'm mobile, right? So I can't, it's pretty much impossible for me to just hop up and go and drive out to every single person who requests a quote and look at their vehicle, right? Because that's all I would be doing all day long, right? So what I do is I get the photos from them initially, look them over, and then get them on a phone call and then discuss everything with them based off of the photos that I've received, and then let them know this is going to be a pretty close estimate. But when I arrive there, I might uncover some other things. The condition of the vehicle might be different and the price could vary some, right? But at least, at this point, this is a fairly accurate estimate, right? Because now I do go out and visit cars and look at them in person, but it's not for every job. It's going to be for like, okay, they want their car, some paint correction done, some ceramic coatings done, or maybe it's something that's really bad. It's an RV that needs to be polished and coated, stuff like that, where you absolutely do need to be directly in front of the vehicle, because it might be a 2 or 3 day job. It's probably going to be over $1,000, something like that. You're going to want to go see that in person, but you don't have to do that for every single detail, right? Because if I did that, I would be driving around all day looking at 20, 30 different vehicles every single day. And it's just impossible. So that's kind of how I would segment that. The ones you absolutely need to go out and see those. But most of them, you're going to be able to get some photos from them and close that deal online, or not online, via the phone, email, text exchange, however you're speaking with this person. But just still give them the caveat that it can vary.
Yeah, the point is you want to see the vehicle at least to some degree, right? Now, whether it's physically seeing it, or they say like, "Are you by your vehicle right now?" Yeah. Okay. Can we get on a WhatsApp video call or a FaceTime call or a Facebook Messenger video call? So put your, I'll ask you to walk around the vehicle, right? Go do it right now. I can talk to you because I can ask you questions. Like we can do a virtual walk around. Okay, right. I'm not going to be seeing it in 4K, super high definition, like with my own eyes, but it's going to give me an idea, right? And you just want that interactivity. Now, if you get somebody who's really, really insistent and just doesn't want to, just like pushing you for price, I mean, number one, they're probably just a shopper, right? So they're shopping around. But if they're absolutely, at that point, you say, look, you don't understand. If I can't see a photo and you're not going to do a video and you're not going to invite me over to look at the car, I can't help you. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to just tell them, I cannot help you. And you can ask them, look, have you ever, look at it this way. Have you ever been in a car accident? or came, come back to your car to find there was some major damage to it, right? Would you be able to get an accurate quote from the body shop to have that panel, straightened out or replaced if necessary and resprayed without them seeing it? Right? There's no difference. I'm not a car wash. If I were a car wash, I would say if it's an RV of this type of, if it's this kind of a small car, it'll be $20. If it's a medium-sized car, it's $30. If it's a full size, it's a $50 thing. Because I know what it is. I'm spraying water on it. I'm going around with a sponge and shampoo, and I'm going to rinse it out and I'm going to dry it off. And it's pretty straightforward. I'm not doing paint correction. I'm getting dirt off your vehicle. That's it, right? That I can give you straight prices. But something is going to take me between 3 and 6 hours. And why does it take between 3 and 6 hours? Because I don't know how bad your paintwork is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to see it to give you a quote. If you're not happy with that, I just can't help you, right?
That's where we're defining car washing and car detailing. That's a
right.
perfect way of putting that.
Yeah. So, like I said, okay, you want an estimate. Sometimes I get asked even for coaching. Sometimes, like, how much you charge for coaching? Well, I don't know. How much time am I going to spend with you? An hour a week or an hour a month? 2 hours a week or 8 hours a month? You want to know what my coaching fees are? They're anywhere between $500 and $5,000 a month. If you want a more accurate estimate, we're going to have to sit down and talk, right? Because I don't know how much I need to help you. I don't know how bad a state your business is in. I don't know what you need help with. Is it everything? Is it one thing? Is it going to be a 10-minute phone call? Is it going to be a 5-hour phone call? I have no idea, right?
Yep.
And, it's that kind of, you were being a little bit more kind of, let's say, aggressive, with our language now as we're talking to you on this private call. Clearly, when you've got the customer on the call, you're going to be all professional and pleasant and say, look, as much as I'd love to just give you this guaranteed price, it's just not professional. It's just not the way to do it. If you really, really push me, I'll say $1,000, right? And you're going to get annoyed. And you say, Mr. Customer, you're going to get really upset with me. But in fairness, you're pushing me to give you a guaranteed number. Well, I've got to come up with a number which I know that even, barring a body shop visit, it's going to cover every possible situation from a detailing paint correction point of view. And the only way, if you don't want me to see your vehicle, you're not going to send me photos, I'm just going to assume the worst, and it'll be $1,000. And don't blame me if I turn up and I see it's not in bad shape and it takes me half an hour to fix your vehicle. Now, clearly, Mr. Customer, I'm not going to do that. I would downcharge you the $300, but I can't. I'm just trying to illustrate a point. That's the thing, right? And you could always ask them, what do you, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect, what do you do for a living? And they'll say, I do X, Y, Z. Okay, how much do you charge? And hopefully, if they do it, or how much does your company charge for whatever it is that they sell? And they say, well, it kind of depends on this and this. You see, kind of depends, right?
Yeah.
Kind of depends. What does it depend on? Right? And they say, well, I sell mobile phones. And you say, okay, well, how much is a mobile phone? What do you mean? How much is it? It depends on what mobile phone you get, doesn't it? That's my point. Depends on your car. It depends on your paintwork. It depends on an awful lot of things, So, try to give them some kind of perspective, right? And you'll know somebody who's really just shopping around. They're pretty obvious. To somebody who, there's kind of that difference between somebody who's just calling around for the cheapest price and somebody who's really actually kind of, they do want you and they kind of want the best, but they just want to know what will you fit in their budget. That's it. And they'll probably go with you. Right. And it's like, and that's kind of, it comes with experience of talking with people. right?
Exactly.
Sometimes
right.
and there's that third person, of course, which is your competitor who's trying to find out what your prices are.
Exactly right. I've caught that. I caught that a couple of weeks ago. A lady had called me. She wanted the seats and carpet cleaned, shampooed inside of her vehicle. That was pretty simple to give a price. I mean, over the phone. It was a little easier than a full detail. Uh, she said that her seats and carpet were in pretty rough shape, that she needed the seats and carpet cleaned and the interior wiped down. So it was a full interior detail. I said, okay. Um, I said, she said, they're in pretty bad shape. I have children. I said, okay. I said, you'd be looking at about $250. I said, you're looking at 4 hours, 5 hours of my time inside of the vehicle. And she says, that sounds pretty reasonable. Then she starts to hesitate. She starts hesitating. She starts, well, I might have to wait till next week. Or I'm like, okay, ma'am. I mean, that's fine. You know, on Sundays, normally I try not to book anything. I try to have my day off on Sunday to do my scheduling. I said, I'll check with you on Sunday, see where you're at, see where I can fit you in, put you on next week's schedule. Well, that Sunday came, I messaged her. I said, are you still interested in the inside detail and the shampoo? No, not maybe the week after. I've got a lot going on this week. I said, okay, no problem. So I went on with the rest of my leads that I had to fill my week. Well, that afternoon, and the crazy thing is this lady, she just completely told on herself. I mean, it was unreal. I couldn't believe. She calls me, and this is on the same Sunday that I asked to schedule her. And she said her son tried to clean her seats and carpet. I said, okay, well, I can probably tell you now that your price is definitely going to be higher than what I gave you the first time. I said, because he's messed them up, or I said, if I'm being correct, he's probably went out there, tried to scrub these seats, and that's something that you can't really do. You'll scrub it deeper into the seats. So now the work's harder on me. So it's going to cost you more money. And she says, well, what do you use to clean your interior, your seats? I said, I use $200 to clean the inside of your car. She was after what I use to clean the insides of my vehicles that she had seen pictures of. And the whole time she wasn't going to use my business anyway.
Yeah, you might catch people like that. That's where you direct them to a link on YouTube and send them about their way. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was unbelievable that she told me her son had tried to clean it after you just told me that you had, a lot of errands to run and you wanted me to do it.
Yeah, sometimes stuff like that will happen. That's crazy, man. But what we're going to do, if we still got Jeremy on, is hop him on here, and we'll get on his question. He's been waiting for us for a minute here.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I appreciate that, Brandon, man. I hope a lot of people can resonate and relate with what we just talked about, as far as getting your pricing up. Also, Brandon dropped a completely free strategy for you guys to help you lock in and convert those higher end details. So consider adding something like 2 weeks later, giving them a free wash, something of that sort, and then transitioning them into some type of maintenance program to build that recurring income. So again, the accountant keeps telling us charge $10,000 a week for Marketing Mondays. We just haven't got around to that yet, but that was definitely a nugget. So be sure, guys, to use that. Jeremy, can you hear us? If you're here and still,
I'm not sure he's on.
Yeah, he's on. I'm just curious if he can hear us or not, and we can pull him in here. Let's see. Boom, there he is. Jeremy, can we go ahead and turn? Let's see. He said he can hear us. Cool. So we can turn. I'm going to disable or enable his microphone. There you go. Now you'll just need to turn.
Jeremy, do you want to? No pressure. If you are able to put your video on, it's obviously great from the point of view of people watching, but there's no obligation. If you are we able to switch your video? Are you open to having your video on as well, or are you somewhere like dark or busy or something like that?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you hear me, Jeremy?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just asking, are you open to having your video switched on, or do you prefer not?
Just audio, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. What do you have for us? What's been going on for you?
Well, I know my initial question was about Instagram, and so I'm in a suburb of Atlanta.
Oh, Chris, did you lose him as well?
Yeah, he's zonked out there for a second. Jeremy, could you try that again for us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, we just lost you.
Oh, okay. So I'm just trying to get more local higher end customers to kind of see my work so that I can then get them to question about my detailing services.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're out there. I have some high income areas around me, but they're at the same time, they're kind of rural, and I just have I've tried looking at hashtags and things like that near me to try and connect with these higher end folks, but any ideas to go with that? And at the same time, trying to show people value once I get them on the phone, because a lot of times I'll get people on the phone and I go a rundown of what is included in my detail. And, at the end of the day, I understand sometimes it's just too expensive for some people, but any ideas to get them to better see the value that I have in the detail?
Yeah, loads of ideas. Lots to talk about. Christian, do you want to go first on that, or shall
I? Yeah, go ahead, man. You can take the lead on that.
All right. So, well, there are a couple of things here. Number one, let me just ask you, the kind of example I talk about quite a lot is this illusion of things being expensive or too high priced or something like this, right? Do you know anybody or customers who have bought a very, very high-end sports car, a Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, something expensive? You must do, right? Or you must know some people.
No, I don't know anybody that has a high-end sports car. I mean, one of my clients has a Corvette. That's about as high-end as I've gotten.
Okay. Even if you don't know, but people buy these cars, right? Do you think that every single person who buys a Porsche, Lamborghini, or Ferrari buys it cash, 100% cash?
No.
Right. How do they buy it then?
No, they finance it.
They finance it. Right. So, because if it was really about what the total price of that car was, they'd never buy that car, would they? They'd never buy a $300,000 Lamborghini if they had to pay cash for it. But they might be doing pretty well financially. enough to pay $3,000 a month on a finance agreement rather than 300,000 right now. Right. So
Right.
would you agree that people, and okay, let's stop talking about cars. You know, anybody who's bought a whatever gigantic 62-inch television set, right? But they didn't buy it. They didn't pay the full $3,000 or $4,000 down in one hit. They went with the hardware store's 24-month payment plan.
Right.
Right. So let's say you have a detail, which is an $800 detail. I bet you could close them all day long if you told them, pay me $300 now, and the rest of it you pay whatever over the next 3 months.
Okay.
Right. So that's just one thing, just to think about. It's not about price. It's all about cash flow from the point of view of the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Which of your customers or prospects doesn't want that $800 detail? They all want the $800 detail. I'm telling you right now, every single one of them wants the $800 detail.
Right.
The only reason why they don't get it is because they can't afford it from a cash flow point of view.
Oh, that makes complete sense.
Right. The objection that we get from some people, from some detailers, is, oh, well, how do you know they're going to pay? You don't. You don't know they're going to pay, right? I'm not going to lie. You don't know they're going to pay. But what are the chances of them not paying? What really are the chances of them not paying? Not that high.
Right.
Not that high, quite honestly. And anyway, if you did a campaign, right, and you got in a certain period of time, 50 people interested in the super, super high-end detail, and what's your average? You probably don't know this number because nobody does, but I'm not going to ask you anyway. Do you know your conversion rate from the point of view of prospects to closing them as clients for high-end stuff? And if you don't, just make up a number approximately.
I would say 3 out of 5 people that call me, I get to get a detail.
3 out of 5. If you increase that to 9 out of 10, would that make a difference to you? You'd think 6 out of 10 at the moment. You think 6 out of 10, but you got it to 9 out of 10, it'd be pretty good, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's 90 out of 100, right? So you're going from 60 customers to 90 customers. Let's imagine you've got those extra 30 customers because you're offering this kind of payment plan. And the way I suggest you do it is at least get a payment from them, which if they never paid you another payment, you wouldn't cry. Right? So let's say it's an $800 detail. If you say like first payment is $297 and the rest of it I'll finance for you over the next couple of months. Right? So, and this kind of goes back to Brandon's things, like he likes to have a bit of money coming in every month. Mm-hmm. Right? Right? And I would rather have 90 customers who are all paying me something every single month than 60 customers and I'm making a third less, basically, right? So I would rather, and let's imagine. So you go from 60 sales to 90 sales, and I'm going to say 5 of those customers, which is a lot, 5 of those incremental 30 customers that you managed to close because of the financing, pay the $297 and never pay you any of the rest of the money. Would it still be worth it to you to get the extra 25 customers for that super high-end detail?
I think so, from the standpoint of being able to just get my name out there.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have got them otherwise.
Right.
You wouldn't have got them otherwise, right? So And are you likely to get 5 people who aren't going to pay? Not that likely. They might pay late. Some of them say, oh, I'm going to be a week late. I'm going to be 2 weeks late. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. You might get some people paying late, but they'll pay. They'll eventually pay. Now they owe you, because they're not only they owe you money, but now they owe you in embarrassment, because now they're late. And that's when you say, hey, look, I know you're a bit late. Tell you what, one way you can definitely make it up for us, if you liked what work we did, you can recommend us to some of your customers, some of your friends, right? Friends and colleagues. How about that? Right? Now they're paying you back with more money than they owe you. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And a good way to look at it is, let's say those 5 people did bail on you, right? And that cost you whatever the price of the detail was, right? $5,000 if they're $1,000 a piece. So they paid 300 of it, 700, $3,500. You paid $3,500 to sell $25,000 worth of details. Right. Like who wouldn't trade $3,500 for $25,000, right?
Makes sense.
The example I often give as well is, have you ever bought any clothes, Jeremy?
Yes.
The store that you give, what's your favorite store for buying your clothes?
Oh, I try to stay cheap. I go to TJ Maxx or something like that.
Okay, so TJ Maxx, doesn't matter. Just so I have something to refer. TJ Maxx, right? They have 4 sets of doors to get in the store, right? And an X-ray machine, and they have like about 20 to 30 security guards right at in between each layer of those doors to get in the store, right?
Right.
To stop you from stealing things, right?
That makes sense. I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to lose so much a year on, loss and stealing and such, but they get the customers in, they're going to make money anyway.
Yeah. There's an official statistic that every company has on their annual report and accounts. I used to work in the banking industry, and we would talk with retail analysts and with companies, CEOs of massive companies, your largest US companies. I used to go on the road with them, and they have a technical term for it it's called shrinkage, right?
Right.
Which is actually, shrinkage is even about employees stealing. Shrink is actually about employees stealing things, right? But it's also when customers come in and they swipe T-shirts and they walk out.
Gotcha.
They know that's going to happen, right? So you just got to accept that somebody's just not going to be good for the money from time to time. It's just the way life is. But if you're making $200,000 a year as a detailer, and one customer doesn't pay you $500, are you going to go and tell your wife, "Oh my God, I can't sleep because I missed out on $500"?
No, not at all.
It's going to annoy you a little bit, but you know what? You can capitalize on that in so many different ways. Like, you can call up the customer, and you can work out like $500 clearly it's a stretch for you. I originally said you could pay me $100 a month, or whatever, $200 a month for the next 3 months. How about, I want to make it easy. Can you pay me $50 a month for the next 10 months? Right? Who doesn't have $50 a month? He's going to say yes. And again, you're not going to have to be doing it. Like the number of times you're going to have to do that is going to be like so insignificant. It's going to be tiny number of occasions that's ever going to happen. And every time it happens, by the way, it's a gift to you, because you get to learn customers' behavior. You get to learn to ask better questions for the next time, right? How do I, you can ask them in a very nice and polite way. I can do a payment plan for you, but I just want to understand, how do I know that you're going to be okay for it? I want you to have the detail. I want you to have the thing. But I just don't think you're ever going to really have that conversation. I think, but if you had to, you could have it. But you're always going to learn. You're going to learn stuff, and once you get really good at this kind of, let's call it financing or spreading the payments, you're going to start learning about customer behavior and when it comes to how they make decisions about buying things and about cash flow. You say, I just sold an $800 detail. I never do that. I wonder if I could do a $1,200 detail now. I wonder if I could do a $1,500 detail. Things start opening up that you hadn't thought about before, right? Do you have 2 cars? Do you have 3 cars? Do you have, how many vehicles do you have? What if, hey, look, you're far out. You're Mr. Prospect. Sorry, are you mobile or are you, on site? Are you
Mobile.
You're mobile. So maybe you've got some customers or like there's something potentially lucrative, but it's a bit of a drive away. And you say, look, if you could set up your own little local club, Mr. Prospect, not club, or whatever you want to call it, our detail pool or something like that, and you can get some other people and we can do them all. I can do them all on the same day, like a couple of cars on the same day. I'll actually be able to you have to buy it up front, so you need to kind of agree with your friends, and like it's $800 a detail, but you get me, you and your friend chip in. You can buy my 2-pack voucher, right? It's a special local deal, and it's only whatever. It's only $1,450 for the total, right? And I'll let you finance the $1,450 as well, right? So you both of you pay $297 each, but then the following payments are going to be a bit less. It saves me time driving out, saves me gas, saves me this, and this.
Oh, I just opened.
Yeah, I got him muted there while he's having that conversation, I suppose. And another good way that you can kind of position that when you have people, like Jason said, everybody wants the $800 detail, the $1,000 detail, whatever it is, right? So I'll have a lot of people who want that. Like that's what they want. Like we've already talked about it, established that's what they want, but they can't afford it. So now they don't want anything until they can have that. Like you can't even get them to do, okay, well, let's just take it a step down, something you can afford. No way. I got to have that. I don't want nothing else. Let me save up my money and then we'll do it. So the way you can position it is I'll tell you what, how about we set up, a pricing terms. I've got, some payment plans set up like blah, 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 blah. That way you can get the detail you want now. You can have the beautiful, shiny, ceramic coated, super awesome car now rather than later, right? And it'll work straight into your budget. You won't even know that you're paying for it, right? So you can go ahead and have this now rather than waiting to get it 10 months from now. And that'll also save you, the chance of potential permanent damage to the clear code or, whatever it happens to be. But just letting them know, dude, you could have it now, right? Have it now, as easy as, XYZ, however the terms work out. And that's usually what people will bite on for me the most is they'll go, oh yeah, well that makes total sense. Why wouldn't I do it that way? So that was super awesome, Jason, to put that in there. So that basically, you might be showing the value in the price the entire time. The problem isn't that they're not seeing the value. The problem is that they just don't have the $800 or the $1,000 to just throw at it all at one time.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, and then again, we're separating ourselves from every other detailer in the area because I don't have a detailer in my area that offers financing on anything or payment plans of any sort, right?
Right.
If you finance the detail, you're going to have to go to the bank and get a loan on a detail or something, which would be completely ridiculous. So I don't know anyone else.
And it's really unlikely. I mean, like I said, another reason why it's kind of unlikely somebody would not pay you. All right, get my right number of negatives there.
Another reason that it's unlikely that someone would not pay you.
Yeah. Would not pay you. I think I'm one trying. But the point was, anyway, what I'm trying to say is that especially if you're a mobile detailer, guess what? You know where they live. Right? Now, I obviously know that you would never in a million years ever think about going by their home and getting a key and putting a nice little line along the car, right? I know you wouldn't do that. Christian knows you wouldn't do that, but they don't know you wouldn't do that,
Right.
right?
That's right.
So nobody's not going to, you know, to pay you what they owe you, because they won't sleep well at night thinking that you could go at any time and slash their tires and stuff, which we clearly wouldn't ever do, because it's so much easier to go to the, I don't know what you call it in the US, to the local county court. You pay your $25 to lodge a claim to say, look, this guy agreed. He signed a piece of paper saying he's going to pay $500 over the next 3 months. He hasn't. $25 to file the claim, fire and forget. You don't even need to turn up. They're going to get a letter from the court saying you owe Jeremy $500. What's the deal here? What's your defense?
Right. Yeah,
right. Move on.
You probably never have to do that anyways.
Which you'd never have to do anyway. But if you really had to, really that $500 is what's going to put food on the table for your family this month, then you have that option open for you. But you won't need to do it because you just closed another 25 customers.
Opportunity costs.
That's right.
So, yeah, you just gotta get comfortable with the fact that businesses lose money sometimes on some customers. As soon as you get comfortable with that, everything becomes easy. Right? But would you agree, Christian? We do get a lot of people who are just absolutely obsessed with this fear that they might not get paid 100% of their fee.
Yeah, I know. Not even just that, just with losing anything. They're like, well, Christian, there's no way that I'm going to offer a free wash 30 days after their detail, because what if they never call me again? Then I just did a free wash for no reason. Dude, come on, man. Or I'm not going to let my customers refer me 10 paying customers and then give them a free detail. Are you crazy? You know, I'm not the discount guy. You know, it's about a lot of things, you know, and if you just run the numbers like we just did, you know, it's obviously it's in the math, like it works. But yeah, a lot of detailers have this fear that it's like, oh, the whole world is awful and bad and they're all going to rip me off, which really is not it's not the case. It's never the case. The world is generally full of good people.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I agree.
And anyone who doesn't pay you, there's usually a good reason why they don't pay you. Something bad has happened in their life, right? And we should, as service providers, have some kind of sympathy, right? Okay, there's going to be one person in 100 who is genuinely out there to rip you off. That's a pretty decent statistic, 1 in 100. I'll take 1 in 100, right? You know, it's a high quality problem to have 100 customers. That's a high quality problem, right?
That's right.
Having 99 non-paying customers, that's not such a good problem to have. But you know, it's not going to happen. So I guess a lot of this episode we're talking is about mindset and understanding customer mindset, and the detailer, the business owner mindset is like, quantify the risk, quantify the reward. Am I happy? I think as long as you are only going to insist on absolutely 100% paying customers, you're always going to struggle to innovate crazy deals and things that are just going to attract a lot of customers, right? The minute you put the stupid, crazy deal out there is the minute that your phone rings off the hook, right? And you're going to have to adjust it. Yeah, you're going to be discovering things as you're doing that process. And you say, okay, you know what? I lost quite a lot of money on those deals I just did. But guess what? I still filled up my black book with some email addresses and phone numbers. And those people know other people, right? And you say, look, you know, you did that. We did that deal for you. Boy, did we lose money doing that deal. It was a pleasure detailing your car, don't get me wrong, but we lost so much money. We're not going to be doing that deal again, but I've got another great deal, at least where I'm going to be able to put food on the table for my family. And we'd love it if you could tell your friends about it. And in you know, like that's the worst that could happen in this sort of thing, right? And this is what we love about marketing and sales and business development. That we have equally as much fun doing this marketing and playing around and enjoying our customer interaction as we do the actual detailing itself, if not more so, right? And this is what will change for you and for all details watching this, like at the point that you actually understand that marketing is fun and interesting and all that customer interest, you know, it should be enjoyable. It should be, they want a deal. Nobody, I always say, nobody walks into a Ferrari showroom and doesn't want a Ferrari. Doesn't happen. Whether they're going to buy one or not because they can afford it is a different matter, but they will want one, right? Everybody wants your $800 detail. Everybody. It's up to you to figure out a way of them buying it from you.
Right.
And that's where you've got to be playful, creative, and something I learned from Michael Port. It's just simple as this. What Michael Port say, if you get his book, Book Yourself Solid, it's a great book. And he says, the more money you're trying to, whatever the product is, the higher the price point of that product, the more effort you need to put in with the customer in terms of building a relationship to close the more effort you'll need to put in order to close that sale. Mm-hmm. Right? So don't expect, if somebody says I want a car wash, you say it's $20, they'll tell you in 5 seconds whether they want it or not. $800 detail, how much effort do you think that's going to take? The same amount as a $20 car wash?
No,
not the same amount. I can understand $800 detail, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, Mrs. Prospect, Mr. Prospect. It's a big decision. I totally get it. Chances are, would I be right in saying that if money weren't an object, if affordability weren't an issue, you would go for it, right? And they're going to say, well, yeah, of course. Sorry. What if I could make it? This is the magic line here. This is the magic line for the high-end stuff. What if I could make it affordable for you? I didn't say anything about discounting, remember? Did not say anything about discounting. I said, what if I made it more affordable for you? They'll be thinking you're going to take a 50% discount, but that's not the direction you're going to go, right?
No.
They say, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. You've made it affordable. Yeah, I get it right now. Okay. And that's when you come up with your master plan. How about I do $297 now, and then followed by 2 payments of, two payments of $250, or 3 payments of $200, or whatever it is. And you know what? Because you're going to be a premium customer, I'll even come over to your car. Like I'll give you. This is something from Earl Daly, who's in our Facebook group. And what if I give you my 7? What's the most annoying thing that could possibly happen after you've paid for an $800 detail? What's the most annoying thing?
It rain or bird comes over and
rains the next day. So you can say, I've got on the $800 details only, it comes with a 7-day rain guarantee, right? Which means that if it rains in the next 7 days, even if you're in a rainy state, doesn't matter. If it rains in the next 7 days, I'll be happy to come over and do a quick wipe down and make it look sparkly because I've done most of the hard work. I'll be happy to come over and do it for you, right? Yes, it's going to take time out of your day, but you're going to close another 30%, 50% of deals. You're going to go from 60 to 90. That's an increase of 50% of business. Just because you're going to sacrifice another 15 minutes of your life to go over and spray their car with a quick finish. right? A quick detail, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And guess what? And you know what the most important thing about those 15 minutes is that you're going over there?
Just showing up.
Just showing up, them seeing you, right? Them seeing you. You're going to go there. You're going to say, oh, you know what? You're just amazing. You're just amazing. You're coming over here. Yeah, and nobody else does this. This is Earl Daly. So, big shout out to Earl Daly. He actually owns a professional window cleaning company, right? And this is totally his idea. And, but you got the opportunity to say, but you love the detail. Oh, we're going to don't worry. We're going to take care of it. It's going to take me 15 minutes, half an hour. No big deal, right? No big deal. We'll I don't know, you've driven the car and it's a bit dirty. It's not just the rain. Don't worry. That's fine. That's fine. But likelihood is that 4 out of those 5 customers are going to say, I really want to introduce you to my friend John. He's got this absolutely amazing Corvette, right? And you've got to see this car. And I'm sure, and he was asking me who detailed my car, and he wants you to take a look at it. I'm going to get another customer, right? The 7-day rain. In fact, Earl doesn't say it for these. This idea from Earl is more for closing the deal. But what he doesn't realize, the genius of it, is that you're showing. I was going to say that the genius behind that, because you're going back there. I just lost my train of thought completely. But the genius behind it is simply the fact that you are seeing that customer again, and they're going to introduce you to other people, right? It's not just about closing the deal. It's the fact that you're getting the FaceTime. It's about the FaceTime. Any opportunity for FaceTime, any opportunity. Like, hey, I'm in your area. Do you want me to come check your tire pressures? Just any excuse. Look, I'm driving down your street. Do you want me to check the oil and tire pressures and squirt some Rain-X on your windshield? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll close so many more details with that, man. Like, for instance, I had somebody last month who wanted their vehicle detailed and then was like, oh, no, I don't want to pay that much because I'm about to go drive to the beach this weekend, and it's going to get super dirty and covered in bugs. And it's not going to be worth it, so I'll probably wait. And it's like, oh, no problem. I'll just, whenever you get back from the beach, give me a call and I'll come by and we'll do a wash on it. And then boom, instantly that was a close, right? Came back when they got back from the beach, did the detail, and they just asked me when I got out there, how much would it cost for you to just keep coming back and doing this every month?
Right.
So that's usually what ends up happening, is something along those lines. And you know as well as I do, Jeremy, a lot of times when the person says, well, I'll just get back to you on it, now it's just going to be a constant game of you texting and calling and emailing and trying to get them back on the hook to schedule this detail out, right? But if you completely dispel all of their fears, which is I'm about to drive to the beach or it's probably about to rain, right? There's no reason for them not to go ahead and close now, right? You just took care of all of that for them. That's another thing that will separate you from every other detailer in town, because they're not going to expect you to go, hey, no problem, don't worry about it. If it rains, I'll come back out and wash it.
No, that's great.
Especially in 7 days. Holy crap, Earl. So that's just awesome. And chances are, like Adrian talks about, the rule of reciprocity will kick in, right? Where they're going to be like, man, this guy just came out.
The law of reciprocity.
Yeah. He just came out and did this for me. He didn't have to do that. I've got to do something back to show my appreciation for this, or I just feel bad. Right. And that's when they're like, let me tell you about my friend. I've got another car. Could you do this again in a month? That sort of thing ends up happening.
Right. That makes sense.
So, what we're talking about is
when I finish a detail, I try to get people to buy into a monthly maintenance program. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. How's that going for you? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, and how's that going for you? How well do you do at closing?
As of now, I've only got 2 clients that I go back to each month for a inside and out $100 a month maintenance plan. And I don't know if it's the price for some folks, or they don't see the value in cleaning their car each month like they do with like paying someone to cut their lawn each month or what have you.
How many people have you pitched it to?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm still fairly new. I'm only 9 months into my business, and at the same time, I have a full-time job. So,
Yes, you don't have enough metrics yet to really determine if you need to adjust the pricing or anything like that. Yeah, you're going to need to pitch it, I'd say at least 20 times before you can really start getting any kind of real data on it.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to, yeah. And then you'll start to see, okay, I've done pitched this to 20 people and nobody's bought in on it. Then you can start looking at, well, maybe I need to make the maintenance program a little bit better. Maybe I need to pitch this differently. Maybe it is the pricing, things like that. And so you can start testing stuff out, but you're going to need to pitch it a few times before you can really start trying to adjust things. Like when I first started my maintenance program, I was doing it at $67 a month. And then I started pitching it and it was like, bam, 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 bam. Everybody was signing up for that. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. We need to bring this price up. So you'll immediately start figuring out once you get to pitching it enough where the price needs to be, and kind of how the pitch needs to flow. I mean, people see the value. I mean, it's just as simple as, do you want your car to look awesome now, one time, or do you want it to look awesome now and all the time?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of if it works into the budget. And again, create pricing terms. If people are like, hey, I can't do a monthly thing, $100 a month is a little out of my budget. I'll tell you what, how about this? Your detail was $250 today, and we're going to need to see it every 4 months, right? So we'll just divvy up 250 by 4. Let me get a calculator real quick. See, boom, 250. Yeah, it's like $60 a month, $62.50. That's what it is. But you tell them, okay, well, how about $60 a month, and we will lock in this price. So if I see it in 4 months from now, and you know your dog's got hair everywhere, and the kid peed in the car seat, doesn't matter. We'll lock in this price, right? And you can lose maybe having to do a little bit of extra work, right? Because now you've got this person locked in, paying you at this $60 a month, and they just might, bump up and ascend in the funnel and go up to like the monthly maintenance program or something like that. So it doesn't have to be just monthly. You always have your other options as well.
Right. Well, I appreciate the information. It's great.
Yeah, you got it. No problem, man. We've been running for about an hour and a half now, so I don't think we should keep on very much longer, or this episode will be extremely long and people will probably never watch it. But I wanted to give you one last thing, because you did ask about getting a bigger following of higher end clients on Instagram and trying to stand out locally. So I am by no means an Instagram expert. Like, I hardly ever even use it anymore. So I won't even claim to be an Instagram expert. But what I can tell you is, if you're going after high-end clients, right, maybe they are on Instagram in your area, right? But the big thing is, you want to, just like we've talked about, you want to innovate your business, create a killer offer, put together a service specifically for these higher-end clients to solve their problems, provide value to them better than anybody else in the area, right? Stuff that nobody else is going to be able to do, so that they'll feel like a fool to do business with any other detailer other than you. And then all you need to do is get that message, get that service in front of them, right? So, if they're on Instagram, cool, get it there. But you could try things like car shows, going to, local chiropractor, dentist office, doctors, where, just get in front of them. I like to use the analogy of, if you're trying to catch a horse, right? You need to come up with the perfect bait for a horse, which is a carrot. Now you just got to figure out where to dangle the carrot at. So if you're trying to get a horse to bite this carrot, where would you dangle the carrot at?
I gotcha.
Yeah. Right here in its face. Right.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to build up this list of hiring clientele, just go to where they are, and that could be Facebook groups, that could be forums in your local area. I mean, there's a billion different places where they could be, right? You'll find where they're congregating at, and those people hang out with each other, right? Like if you own a Porsche, at least one other guy that owns a Porsche. It's just, there's no way you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's just a rabbit hole there. Just like when I was in the beginning of the call talking about the RVs, I just went to the biggest RV park in town, and got out there and made a name for myself and got in front of everybody. So maybe they're on Instagram. I don't know. Again, I'm not like a pro Instagrammer or anything, but I can tell you they're going to be somewhere. They're going to be congregating in multiple places. You just have to find the one that's working the best for you that you can get into and get the most results from. So that's what I would suggest to you, is to put together, the perfect service, the perfect offer, the ultimate value stack to that clientele, and then just get it in front of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cars and caffeine near me. I've yet to go there. Not because I don't think I could, sell my services, but there's more detailers in the area. I feel like maybe they've already hit that.
Who cares, dude? Just like when I was talking about with the RV park, there were 3 other businesses already out there that had been there for 20 years. Like, don't even worry about it. Get out where it doesn't matter. The other detailers, are they like you? Are they you? Do they provide the same level of value that you do? Do they do the exact same thing that you do?
Right.
No chance.
Christian, I just had an idea. My door hanger,
Yeah.
right? And we talked about joint ventures, like to have the customers think about you all the time and to remember you and for you to show value. We talked about having a door hanger and partnering with a window cleaning company, a lawn, a landscape gardener, somebody to mow the lawn, window cleaning, pool maintenance, and then putting your detail voucher at the bottom because they have to tear yours off first.
Right.
Right. Do you know what? I just realized, because I'm here in Spain because I'm not home at the moment. I rent a car all the time. And guess what? Every time you pick up a rent-a-car, what do you find when you get into the rent-a-car, when you get into it for the first time? You have one of these things dangling from the mirror, don't you? Like, it is normally full of junk of nothing useful whatsoever, right? Just saying thank you for renting the car from such and such rent-a-car. Well, you come up with some joint venture get some offers and partner up with some people locally, Jeremy, right? Your landscape gardener, your pool cleaning company, your window cleaning company, your, even, or maybe get the oil change company, the oil change shop, the body shop, anything related. Get these things. When you finish your detailing job, hang it on the mirror. We are absolutely honored that you chose us to do your detailing today. And it can be a surprise, right?
$2,000 in free vouchers.
Here's just to say thank you. Here we wanted you to get all of these free things. But you just got to make sure that anybody you partner with, they really have to genuinely give you an offer that they can't find, on the website of those people. Right. Like, I'm going to put you on my mirror hanger, right? But I want you to give me something that you don't give to anyone else. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And imagine if you're doing this with the higher end guys, the kind of JVs you're going to want to set up.
Yeah. And put 3 more little ones at the bottom saying, give these to your friends and they all get a such and such.
Okay. That's a great idea.
From me. Right.
Yeah. Do you think the other detailers at the show are probably doing that?
No, I mean, I imagine they're just telling them their packages and giving out business cards.
Yeah, they're probably saying, hey, my name's Christian and I do a thing. Give me money for it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're out there doing.
Okay. Wow. Well, you guys have definitely made me change some perspective. That's good.
Awesome. That's good to hear, man. We appreciate you having taking the time to get on here with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's
got
a
it,
bit
man.
different today rather than Bill. Yeah, it was great talking to you, Jeremy, because it gives us material to work with, gives us a situation. It makes our life easier when we have people on. So we only normally do this in our private coaching group on Fridays. So normally we'll build out a campaign. So we hope this different format today was useful for you guys.
Yeah, we might end up doing if everybody likes this kind of thing, we might do it, every 4 episodes or so, or every couple months, something like that. Give it a shot. So just let us know if you guys kind of enjoyed this formatting, this kind of, I guess, I don't want to say mastermind because everybody calls it a mastermind, a summit, but this type of little format here, very laid back, hanging out, talking, and just speaking about business and marketing and sales, man. So yeah, guys, just let us know if you enjoy that. Hit us up. Be sure to join the $1 Million Detailer Club on Facebook. Yeah. And if you haven't already, we do host every single week a detailer marketing masterclass, where I tell the stories just like one of the ones I told earlier in the call today, about my transition in business. And we teach the fundamental foundation of marketing and sales to help you learn to generate all the leads your detailing business can handle without having to waste thousands of your dollars and spend decades of your life trying to grow your business. So be sure to sign up for that as well and register to be on the show. You'll get all the notifications. You'll know as soon as we go live, and you'll also get updates whenever the resources we create are available to you.
Yeah, you're watching on YouTube. Sorry, it broke up a little bit on my side. Did you just talk about YouTube or not?
No.
I wasn't sure. So if you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe on the channel and click on the bell icon so you get a notification when we're going live. And so I'm just getting distracted because Brandon is writing some very, very lovely comments in the chat box there. I don't know if you've seen them, Christian. Really, really, he's so excited and happy. And Brandon, I won't read out your messages. It's been a pleasure if I made some kind of difference to you. But we appreciate you sending those comments through. But yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, click on subscribe, give us a thumbs up, click on the notifications bell, and Christian's already given you all of the other stuff. Also, if you're wondering like how much money you can actually make using all the strategies we teach, especially if you go to the next level and you join us in our group coaching program, you might want to see the interview that we did with Juan, who I don't know what his latest figures are, but like May and June, in May he made $41,000, and in June he made 48, or
I think was it 51?
Was it 51? 51. Yeah, 51. It was $51,000 in June. So, and I think by mid-July, so in 2.5 months, he said that he made more money in that 2.5 months than he did all of last year.
It's crazy,
right?
Man. It is.
And without spending any money on marketing and advertising, by the way. I mean, yeah, he might have printed a postcard or something, but we're not talking about, we hear this, do SEO and like spending lots of money on this, that, and the other, right? Right. This is all to do with all the creativity we talked on today's episode, coming up with crazy ideas, coming up with fun things with the customer. Go and watch that. Go and watch the interview with Juan. It's detailermarketing.com/Juan, JUAN, right? So detailermarketing.com/Juan. It's like 58 minutes of myself, Christian, and Juan shooting the breeze and having a ton of fun. It was such a fun little interview, just asking, well, how did you make all this money? And he's like, well, I just did what you told me to do, right? And I tried one of your strategies every single week, right? I'll try everything once, right? And that, right. And there's no magic to it, except the fact that he's playful and creative with it, right? We might show 5 different strategies, and you take one of one, a bit of one, a bit of the other, a bit of the other, a bit of the other, and then he comes up with his own thing, and he shares all of it in the interview, right? He shares exactly what he's done. So go watch that.
Yes, definitely check that out. Again, guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Jeremy and Brandon, for hopping on here with us. Super awesome. Yeah. So again, we'll see you guys all next Monday. Be sure to join the $1 Million Detailer Club. Check out Juan's interview. This has been super awesome. This has been super fun. I always enjoyed this. This was a nice little format, man.
Yeah, I love doing it like this. Well, have an awesome day. Take care.